All right, Dolphin fans. So today I want to go over the top 5 things that worry me, bother me. The top 5 questions that the Miami Dolphins have for this upcoming season. Now, some of these are it's all related, right? One thing can affect the other, can affect the other. But for me, there's 5 things that I've been thinking about more than anything else that are going to be answered. They need to be answered. I think these are the things that are going to make or break the season. Number 5 is the defense. Now, last year, by the time the team really got rolling with Fangio's system, like literally everybody got injured. I mean, it was just they called me. I'm 5'6", 180 pounds. They called me to play defensive tackle. That's how thin it got. I said no. So the point is that we don't know what Chubb is going to be when he's going to be back. We don't know what Phillips is going to be or when he's going to be back. We hope, we think, we expect, but we don't know. Those are very, very different things. If they come back relatively soon, and they are like themselves relatively soon after they come back, that will take some of the pressure off of the offense, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But now you've got the guys you want back, the Phillips and Chubb, and you've got the new guys, and then you've got the new system, and everybody has to learn it. And then when Phillips and Chubb come back, the new guys, they're going to take a step back, or maybe they're going to be integrated into the lineup a little bit more. And there's a lot of missing pieces from last year. We can hope, we can think, we can have an outlook, but we don't know. We don't know a damn thing about how this defense is going to look, and that's going to affect things later on down the line. The second thing is the offensive line. Now, this is one of those situations where I kind of look at it, and basically when I look at the names, all I can say is I don't know how it worked last year, so I'm just going to assume it can work again. Now, the 2 main things that we have to think about with the offensive line are the health of Teron Armstead, and can the center and quarterback snap the ball without dropping it? Please. So there's that. Now, Armstead, we all know, is going to miss 4 to 6 games. If he doesn't, it'll be the first time, I'm making this up, it'll be the first time ever that he has. He's injured a lot. We all know that. That's why he was available. Now, the question's going to be, who's going to take that spot when he's out? How's that going to look? I know Kendall Lamb is there. We've got a bunch of guys. But the thing is last year we had a bunch of guys a lot of the time too last year, and it worked out for 2 reasons. Tua's quick release, coupled with Mike McDaniel's ability to call those plays where Tua gets the ball out in a half of a second. And then, of course, the fact that our running backs are so fast, it doesn't matter that there's no hole. They will find a leak. They will find a little itty-bitty gas leak and go. So it's a question, but for me, even though the names don't really scream confidence, I have a feeling we're going to be okay there. Now, number 3, which really isn't number 3, but I'll put it at number 3, is Tua. Now, we know that every year Tua has found something to work on and has improved upon that and kind of checked that off of the list of things that he needs to improve upon. This year, it was losing weight and becoming more mobile. Sounds good. Oh, boy. If it works, it could be spectacular. It could really open up the offense in ways that we need it to be open. If he has a bad moment and has one of those indecisive moments where he's not really sure if he's going to run or slide, and a defenseman smacks him in the chest or in the shoulder or anywhere up above his belly button, and the concussion issue comes back, then it's all over but the shouting at that point. So that would be my concern. We all know that when people have said, when Tua was with Alabama, he was more nimble, but the hip injury, okay, that's all fine, but that was before the concussions part. So while I have confidence, and the reports from camp say that he's nimble and he's moving around and it looks good, that's great. But if he can't take the hits that are going to come with that, right? I mean, he has to be perfect with when he's going to slide. If he's going to be mobile like that, he has to be perfect with when he's going to slide, when he's going to go out of bounds. He's not going to be able to take the hits that a Mahomes or especially like a Josh Allen can take. Okay, he cannot lower his shoulder and go into guys. Now with his concussion history, it's too risky, it's too dangerous. So kind of like the defense. We hope, we think, we expect, but we don't know. And it's only going to take one play for it all to go to hell. And then when you take the offensive line that we have, if you mix it with any of our backup quarterbacks, you don't have that quick release. I don't know if we win a game. Now, number 4, I'm going to combine Mike McDaniel with the play calling and the backup wide receivers and all of the tight ends. Now, the reason why I'm putting it that way is because we all saw what happened last year. Tariq entered the season saying, I want 2,000 yards. And, I mean, there were some games and it was just like, throw it to Tyreek, throw it to Tyreek, throw it to Tyreek. We tried to get it to Waddle, throw it to Tyreek. And McDaniel did not use many times the rest of the weapons that he has. Craycraft is a good slot receiver. Okay, Barrios, good slot receiver. They're not Wes Welker, but like I say about Durham Smythe, when was the last time you heard Durham Smythe dropping more than one random pass? He gets open, he catches the ball, first down, continue on. So the point I'm bringing up is that at the end of last year, both Hill and Waddle were beat up. They got beat to shit from just being, in my opinion, way overused. Yes, Hill is probably still the fastest guy in the NFL. They're great weapons to have. But sometimes you can use those weapons as decoys and take it a little bit easier on your guys. How many times do we see Hill especially have to go to the locker room to get an IV, right? I mean, yes, he comes back out and he's all himself and everything like that. But behind closed doors, that takes an effect. So if McDaniel can learn from that and use wide receiver 3, 4, and 5, and both tight ends, use them a little bit more, hell, even just 10%, 15% of the time, give somebody else a freaking chance. Now, question number 5 is, unfortunately for us Dolphin fans, the schedule. And when I looked at this schedule, all I can say is that if you are somebody that believes that we are living in a simulated universe and or that the NFL is rigged, when you look at our schedule versus the history of what the Dolphins have done, you cannot help but look at it and say, that's got to be on purpose. That's got to be on purpose. Here are the Dolphins' last 6 games, November, December, January, when we struggle. Here are our final 6 games. At the Packers at night. We've got the Jets at home. Then we're at the Texans. Then we got the 49ers at home. And then we end the season at Cleveland and at the Jets. Now, we could play really, all 5 reallys. We could play really well and go 3-3 in that time period. We could play really well, go 2-4. We could go 4-2. 0-6 wouldn't surprise anybody if you're a Dolphin fan. That might be a little bit hyperbolic, but just go back and look at last year and the year before and the year before and the year before. And you know what I'm saying. So that schedule, those last 6 games, let's just roll it backwards. If you say we want to win the division, you got to at least get to 11-6. So to get to 11-6, if you're going to go 3-3 in those final 6 games, you have to be 8-3 when you hit that mark. Because I don't think you can look at those 6 games and see anything much better than 3-3. Even if you want to say, we're going to beat the Jets twice, okay, then the other games are the Packers, Texans, Niners, and Browns, with 3 of those being on the road. Maybe we can beat the 49ers at home, and then maybe. Packers on the road at night, yeah, not so much. Texans, 1 o'clock, middle of December, in Tex, at the Texans, I can't talk. Okay, the Browns, that might be a winnable game, but again, we can play decent and go 3-3. So How do we avoid repeating where we were last year? I don't remember if it was 8-2 or 9-2. Wherever we were last year, we're going to have to get to that same spot again and do better in those final 6 games. And when I look at those 6 games, all I can think of is Tom Grossi and the script writer. I'm like, that's on purpose. There's no way that's not on purpose. 3 of the final 4 are on the road. Texans, Browns, Jets, and the home game is against the 49ers. Ouch. So to me, all of the other 4 questions have to do well. The defense has to play well. The offensive line has to stay healthy and functional. They don't have to be great. As long as they're functional and Tua is healthy, the offensive line combination with Tua, we're good to go. McDaniel, this is the most important part, I believe, is McDaniel's play calling and the overuse of the top guys. Because when you get to those 6 games, you're going to need Tyreek and Waddle to have 2 legs, not just one. So he's going to have to learn from that and adjust, because that was that was some of the issue at the end of last year, was especially Hill. He was banged up. He was beaten up. So it all meshes together. What do I think is going to happen? We'll get into that. I'll have a couple series previews out as we go. But for me, these were just the top 5 things. Those are the biggest questions I think we need to answer. Can we win? We can win if the offense all clicks and the defense is okay. I don't know about winning a Super Bowl, but we don't need the 84 Bears or 85 Bears, right? Whatever it is. We don't need that. We just need them to be, bend, don't break. Hold them to field goals, right? Limit the time of possession. There's another thing that the offense, McDaniel, it's 3rd and 2. I swear on everything that is holy, if he calls another bubble screen on 3rd and 2 that leads to 4th and 6, I can fly down there now. The dog is dead. I can make good on my threat. I will fly down there and put him in a locker. I will stuff his ass in a locker. I got nothing to lose. Send me to jail. I get free room and board for a couple of weeks. Actually would be that would take some stress off of me. It's actually not a bad idea. I should stop the video now. I'll see you tomorrow.